Bear out here, homesteading the desert, another episode, and it is 2 days before Thanksgiving. I got out here this morning with my friend's trailer, and I picked up my water tank. I'll show that in a minute. It's going on 3:30 right now, and I wanted to show you that we've got a full charge in the batteries, 13.4, and you can see the batteries symbol there shows it's full, and it's already dump loading, or it's switched to dump load. I don't have a dump load on there, but I just wanted to show you that. And you can see outside it's a really nice day. It's calm as can be. There's no wind, so none of that charge came from any wind. All right, now I brought up another set of these 100-watt solar panels from Harbor Freight. And these go on sale for Black Friday, and they were down to $139 for the set. Well, I talked to the manager, and he knows me there, and I said, look, I'm not going to be around. I got to head out to my homestead, so I'd like to bring a set up with me. And he said, okay, you buy a lot here, so no problem. So he gave me the deal on it ahead of time, so I did bring a set up. Now I want to show you something about those. I got two of them hooked up outside, just coming to one battery inside the battery room here right now. It was a free battery I got from Vince. But I want to show you these two panels right here are just sitting here, just picking up ambient light. They're not even in the sun. We're in the dark here. And let me show you something here. See that blue light? That's showing that they are actually putting out a charge, but the wires aren't connected to anything. They're just sitting here. I just wanted to show you that. Even this one got a nice blue light on it, and that one's behind the other one. So those are pretty good panels. They're amorphous panels, and they put out some pretty good current. The two outside are bringing in 12.6 to my battery here and charging this battery. Now, when I got this battery, there was only 5 volts in it. And it's a maintenance free, but I did find there were caps on it, so I opened up all the caps and refilled all the cells to the proper level with distilled water, and then I put it on a forced charge with an inverter charger at 14.4 for 2 days straight, day and night. And when I disconnected it, it was holding a charge and staying at 12.6, so that's what I've got now, and that's what's in the battery. That may be a good battery. I'll put it under load and see what I can do with it. And if it is good and it does work, I'm going to add it to the battery banks inside the van. I've only got 2 deep cycles in there now, and a third one would give me a little extra boost that I need. All right, let's move around here. And temporarily, I put one of the panels right there, and the other one is on its own stand underneath there. So I'll fix those up. But you can see we had some rain here last week, and there was 2 days that it showed that there was some rain here. And I'll come out and dust these panels off. But as you saw from the readings on the inside at 13.4, when I got there they were up to 13.8, so there's still charging. These are the Harbor Freight amorphous panels. That's the 100-watt set right there that I brought up before. Those are 100 watt each up there. That's 300 watts, and there's 2 more up here, and that's 200 watts up there. So when I leave here this time, I'm going to have 745 watts of charge going into my battery banks. All right, let's move on up. You can see the tank up there sitting on its pedestal, and I exposed the line down here that comes off the outdoor shower, because those barrels were what was feeding the cabin temporarily until the tank came in. And I will trench all the way down from there to here and run 1-inch line, and then I've got a 1 inch to 3/4 reducer and a 3/4 T, so I can actually still leave this system tied into it, but I'll probably put a gate valve in right about there So I can shut off those to the cabin and just use the water out of the tank for the cabin and keep this out here for the shower and the outdoor sink. So I won't have to refill those barrels as many times. And as we go up here, you'll see that the tank is on the pedestal and it's centered. And I don't know who built that pedestal, but he built it just the right size for that tank. Yeah, I was kidding. And the reason I got the ladder there was I started piping this, and the part that cuts after the valve right here, just before the elbow, isn't glued together yet and isn't tightened in, because I want to put a filter on in between that before it goes down into the ground. And that'll pick up any sediment or anything that's inside the tank that accidentally gets in there. And then up there, that little thing sticking out, there was just a 1.5 inch plug in that hole, but you have to put a air vent in. The air vent lets air into the tank while the water is coming out at the bottom. And if you don't have that up there, then the tank is going to go airbound and your water is going to stop until you get air into the tank. I'm sorry, I just put my beer down so I could climb this ladder, and we'll get up here. I've got the cover unscrewed on the top, and I wanted to look inside to see how the inside looked. You see it's got a nice dome on the top here, and you don't have to unscrew this whole cover to fill it. You only have to turn this little thing right here and lift it out, and then they fill it right through there. But this is what it looks like down in there. Pretty dark, but it's nice and clean as can be, and it's got a little plasticky smell. That's why I left the cover loose here. I want to let this thing air out. I won't be able to get my water delivery until Monday, so I've got almost a week to wait before I get water in this thing. And my filter that I brought out with me has a one-way rubber membrane valve in it, and I took it apart before I put it in here, and I noticed that the one-way valve was missing. I don't know if it broke or fell out or whatever, so I'm going to have to go over to the pool supply tomorrow and pick one of those up, and then I'll get this piped and get the filter on so it's ready for the water when it comes. And I've got my chlorine down in the container right now. I unloaded that already, and I think what I might do is pick up a T here, a 1 inch to 1/2 inch or 3/4, and I might put a hose bib right here so that I can just hook a hose on there if I need to fill up my little irrigation barrel right over here. I'll just run the hose around, drop it in the barrel, and open the valve up and let it fill my barrel. Because I do things like this. I've got to break myself of this habit for right now, because I had to take those automatic sprinklers off, the automatic timers. They only work with pressure. I've seen some online that work with gravity feed, so I'm going to have to order some of those. But when I got here, I decided I'm going to water the trees. So I turned a little valve on there, the little T valve, and I started doing other things. And next thing you know, I was down in the cabin having lunch, and then I said, uh-oh, I left the water on. Well, this barrel is empty now. So the trees got a 55-gallon drink today. But that's okay, because there's algae in the bottom of that barrel. So I'm going to disconnect the line, and when I get my water into this big container, I will rinse that barrel out and clean it up, and then I'll add a little chlorine to it also, so that I don't have to worry about that algae growth again. Anyway, I did pick up that that chlorine from Leslie's Pool Supply back in the OC, and the girl, the manager there, Julie, was very helpful and informative as to how much and what types and all that stuff I should use. So I want to give her thanks if she's watching. She said she would log in and subscribe to my channel so that she could keep track of what's going on. And if you did, Leslie, thank you. So as we move on down the line here, I got one other thing over here. I bypassed it because I wanted to get up and get that tank involved before I went too far. I got this rain barrel here that I made. It's a 37-gallon trash barrel, and I put a bulkhead hose bib connector in the bottom of it. So I'm going to switch it over for this little 5-gallon container, and I'm going to elbow this straight into either the side or right into the top of the cover right here. I might think I'm going into the side though, because that way I can lift the cover to see what's how full it is. And then when it gets up to a pretty good level, I'm going to have my garden hose, or one of my garden hoses, connected down there to the hose bib. It'll run around the cabin there and over to the grapevine. And I'll just open that up and give the water to the grapevine, so it has a good soaking. So all my water here is going to have multiple use. And we'll work everything out a little at a time. I hope you guys stick with me. We've got a lot coming up here. I'm going to be doing a lot this week. Because of the holiday, I'll be up here working my butt off for the next 7 days. And, oh yeah, there's my Desert Star Leslie's Pool chlorinating compounds. There's 2 gallons in there. And the problem is I only need a quart. And that'll treat the whole 2,500 gallons that's going to go into that water tank. And that's going to put it up real high to a 5 ppm. But for the first time that you put water in, they recommend that because there may be manufacturing compounds and things like that on the inside of the container that you want to neutralize and not consume if you happen to take a mouthful of water. And the chlorine will work itself off after a while, but I'm also going to have a compressed carbon block filter at the sink area, and that'll be for drinking water. That'll take everything out to a 0.5 micron and leave in the good minerals. So I'll have clean drinking water coming off that tank also. That's about it for right now, people. G Bear signing off. Until tomorrow.